Warcraft, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Captain Marvel, Army of the Dead. This movie is awful. Holy sh... This thing is so much worse. Like, people are just talking about this like this is a bad Zack Snyder movie. No, this is legitimately one of the worst big budget movies of the last couple decades. So, let's discuss. Heavy spoilers. Maniac movies, like, share, and subscribe. I'd like to get my subscriber rate up. I want to see some interactions with this video. Anyway, I'm going to go through this plot, because this thing is a disaster. So, yeah, let's just start at the beginning. So, this movie starts establishing two very important things. And one is that Zack Snyder really has a personal grudge against an actor named Michael Cassidy. This guy, he played Jimmy Olsen in Batman v Superman. R.I.P. Jimmy Olsen. His pocket full of kryptonite didn't help him one damn bit of good. He got killed in like the first 10 minutes of that movie. And then in this movie, he's the leader of the military convoy. And he don't last long in this one either. So, military convoy, top secret thing in the back. They're driving across the desert. You know, this is all important. Like, what do you think we got? We got a top secret weapon? No, we got an alien. Blah, blah, blah. So, of course, these two idiots at the front of the convoy crash the same way the dumb rednecks at the beginning of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 do. They don't notice an object directly in front of them on a long, empty stretch of road. So they crash into the trashy couple because they were distracted by Roadhead. At least they had a reason to be distracted. So, massive collision, and Michael Cassidy immediately establishes the second fact of this movie, which is that white people are either stupid or evil. Because his response to this massive head-on collision, where this all-important government military box, like the box at the beginning of the first Jurassic Park movie, has rolled down the road and is cracked open, is like, uh-oh, I guess better call this in. What do we do? Female voice on the other end, get the fuck away from it! Get the fuck away from it! Oh, guys, they're saying not to, and they are approaching this thing, busted wide the hell open the entire time. He's like, guys, don't go near it. He is not relaying this information with the intensity with which it was provided to him. So, King Zombie busts out the thing, just blows through all these soldiers, kills every one of them, because apparently out of, 6-8 soldiers, not one of them could get a headshot in. So Michael Cassidy and his little buddy jog off down the hill. I mean, they maybe go 50 yards, maybe, and the friend's like, no, we're far enough. You just saw a thing kill all of your friends. And Michael Cassidy's dumbass trips over a hole like he's a teenage girl in a Friday the 13th sequel. And they laugh about it because fuck everybody that just died, apparently. And then the King Zombie shows up and kills them too. So he's dead again. And then they find Vegas. I've been to Vegas. It's actually a lot of fun. So the opening montage is kind of cool. It has some good moments, although it has some really stupid moments too. Liberace, this guy's clearly supposed to be Liberace, at the piano is, I guess, deaf because he doesn't hear the naked zombie showgirls killing all his friends in his hotel room. Then they tear his toupee off and kill him too. Zombie boobs, yay. And then we see Vegas get destroyed by zombies, and we get something really stupid right away. The guys parachuting into Vegas, the soldiers, what the fuck was their plan? They parachute into a volcano, you have a better chance of surviving. It's like thousands of zombies milling around. These motherfuckers have like a little handgun, like a Beretta, like ah. Your plan was to die, right? Like this was suicide. This was a mass suicide. Anyway, so that was stupid. But then it does kind of a cool thing where it introduces a character and then shows them kind of like in a portrait. That was sort of cool. You get Dave Bautista introduced. You get really jacked, tattooed black guy. Batista's right-hand woman, superhero mom with the braids, and it's some decent things with the action through there, and good special effects. I think a lot of the effects budget actually went to this opening 10 minutes, but it's still cool. But then at the very end, it completely ruins it, because superhero mom with the braids, she's went through all this to save her daughter. She was so relieved when she found her daughter in that diner. She's like, yeah, honey. But then they get to the fucking giant wall from 28 Days Later, and it's slamming shut, and they get the mom. Oh no, mom's not gonna make it. rather than say to her daughter, for the love of God, run, run, save yourself, she actually beckons to her daughter, grabs her, and holds her to. She murdered her daughter. Straight up. This is treated like an emotional moment. That woman just murdered her daughter. She said, I'm taking you with me to her 10-year-old daughter. This woman was evil. And that was a really weird scene. And I noticed Zack Snyder acted as his own DP. Maybe why this maybe that's why this movie's out of focus for like half of it. I actually think that was a stylistic choice. Either that or he really legitimately did not have anyone pulling focus, because this thing dropped focus so many times that for a while I thought it was like the Netflix stream. Then I realized, oh, that's a stylistic choice. So that's kind of like Zack Snyder's lens flare. It's going to be his new J.J. Abrams thing. He's just going to do focus drops. Great. That was irritating. Then we flash forward. It was a few years, and Bautista, who saved some top-tier military guy and was awarded the Medal of Honor, which is the highest award a soldier can be granted, or earn, whatever you want to say. Somehow, he's now like living in a shithole and working as a flipping burgers. Now, I know many veterans end up homeless. I'm fully aware of that. This guy was awarded the Medal of Honor. No book deal, no stupid reality TV show where he teaches people how to shoot guns. Nothing. Just immediately poor. Man, again, a couple of years passed, but it doesn't say like, oh, he became an alcoholic or something. No, he just... And he's not unambitious when he's given the opportunity by the guy who played Scorpion in that Mortal Kombat movie that just came out. When he's given the opportunity by Scorpion, I don't remember the character's name, an older Japanese actor, like he immediately takes it. So it's not like he just stopped living. He wants to make the money. Just, okay, that's good storytelling, I guess. And his daughter absolutely hates him. And we're told, not shown, because, again, good writing, that he was a bad father to her. Like, fine, whatever. So, Scorpion tells him, assemble a team and get my $200 million out of the bank, because I've already received insurance on it. So, I'll get double this way. And you can get a $50 million cut that you split up with your team however you like. And he immediately goes to his right-hand woman, who in the opening sequence was wearing a shirt that said premature ejaculation. Fine. Zack Snyder. But, so he goes to her and they come up with, well, we don't have to tell the others how much we're getting. So they like mercilessly screw over their team. They give them all a couple $100,000. So they go to like really jacked black guy who had the saw at the beginning. And apparently now this guy's working as a physical therapist at an old folks home. I feel like some dots needed to be connected on that guy's career path too, but fine. So they recruit him. They recruit this dipshit influencer who likes to sneak into Vegas and shoot zombies, and a couple of his friends. And this guy has the doofiest haircut, style, because he's like platinum blonde dye job, this poofy part at the front, and then the rest is jet black. I guess this was supposed to let me know the guy was gay. That seems like a homosexual hairstyle. I don't know if they ever directly addressed him, but that was all I could take away from it, because I can't see a straight man doing that hair. But yeah, so they get him. They get this prissy-ass German... Again, white people are either morons or evil. This prissy-ass German safecracker who somehow is a safecracker, but he's completely illiterate with guns. Like, you're a criminal. How have you never interacted with a firearm? Whatever. Like, this guy straight up date rape screams a few times in the movie. Like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Like, Yeah, so they get the German guy, and so they have their team assembled, and they go like, Bautista's like, I got an in, and enter where this movie gets into some confused ass political messaging. So it turns out that a lot of people have been quarantined after the Vegas thing. Vegas fell, Vegas was quarantined, it's full of zombies, but they've got this little detention camp. Like it's straight up a migrant detention center. But they call it a quarantine zone, only everyone there seems to be Latin American except for one person, the Lily the Coyote, blonde woman. And everything in there looks like a migrant detention facility. The kids are playing soccer. I would bet if I went back and watched it again, there's a Mexican flag somewhere in there, like with the tents and everything. And Bautista's daughter's working there, and she's a volunteer. And they say that a bunch of times. She's a volunteer to make sure we know she's not affiliated with law enforcement, because they're the bad guys. So the only guard we really interact with in this movie is played by Tio Rossi, who's a good actor. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He was Juice, the guy with the lightning tattoos on the sides of his head. And he's one of those movie bad guys where you're like, how are you still alive? Like, how has no one murdered you yet? Like, this guy is such a prick and so blatant in it. Like just power drunk, invading women's space. Like, just fucking ridiculous. Bautista's daughter is a volunteer there helping out, and she's friends with this woman. And the woman wants to sneak into Vegas, apparently. This is the thing, especially within this migrant detention facility that they call a quarantine zone. And Lily the Coyote, of course, coyotes, if you follow the news, are the people that help people cross the border illegally. That's what they're called in Mexico. They're called coyotes. This is so on the nose. So Lily the Coyote, the only white person in the quarantine zone, is helping people slip in and out of Vegas, and they steal the money that was left behind during the evacuation, right? And Lily the Coyote looks like a female hero in a video game. Just down to it. Like the earth-colored tight clothes and the black eyeliner and the platinum blonde spiky hairdo to let us know she's badass. So Lily's going to help Bautista's daughter's friend sneak in, and Bautista's daughter's like, no, you can't, so many people don't come back. She's like, we have to do it, we have to buy our way out. So I guess these people are able to bribe their way out. That is a pretty loose ship they're running for a fucking doomsday virus. Like, people can just sneak in and out and then bribe their way out. Like, if this was real, this place would be so locked down. I mean, this is years. This isn't something that was thrown up overnight. And again, why are they still quarantined? It's been years. But they say something about political dissidents. I missed it. It's really stupid. But so Lily the Coyote's gonna help her, and she tells her friend, "No, don't do it." And her friend's like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it anyway." Then Bautista goes to his daughter, and she just hates him. She hates him. And this is an action movie cliche where they go back to their kid, and their kid doesn't like them because fill in the reason. But and we're kind of led to believe it's because Bautista had to kill the mom because the mom turned into a zombie, so now the daughter resents him. But there's more to it than that. But the daughter kind of reluctantly agrees to help for money, and she's such a self-righteous bitch about it. She keeps going, "You're all a bunch of criminals. You're about to commit grand larceny." You're doing the exact same thing. You're an accomplice. You're doing it for money too. You're doing it for noble reasons because you're gonna buy the freedom of all these kids. Okay, maybe one or two could sneak out. You're gonna sneak out a few dozen people from this. Nah, yeah, that they're gonna notice. So, but then Bautista's daughter finds out that the friend snuck in with Lily the Coyote anyway, and she just straight lights Lily the Coyote up, who does nothing. And this is a running thing in the movie where people just immediately back down. Just, fuck you. Yeah, you never should have taken her in. You had no right. She has a mom. Okay. And then with Bautista, she's like, I'm going in with you. I am telling you what's going to happen. And Bautista's like, okay. And he does that a few times in the movie where he's like, no, you can't do this. It's too dangerous. And people are like, I'm going to do it. And Bautista's like, okay. I want to meet Dave Bautista. I want to come up to him and say, hey, Bautista, you got to loan me $500,000. Bautista's like, no, it's my money. I need my money. It's like, you have to loan me $500,000. Bautista's like, okay. But Bautista is not a great actor either. He's fine. He's okay. I remember him being good in Blade Runner 2049, but watching him as the lead in this whole movie, he is not a lead actor. I Am Drax is about at the extent of his acting ability. I love that they got the least important cast member of Guardians of the Galaxy. Went to Chris Pratt, way too expensive. Went to Bradley Cooper, way too expensive. Went to Vin Diesel, still too expensive. Let's try Drax. You should have gone to Michael Rooker, guy who plays Yondu, the blue dude with the mohawk. He'd have been better than this by a lot, actually. Michael Rooker's actually a really good actor. But yeah, so Bautista assembles his team, and Scorpion, the businessman who's bankrolling the whole thing, has let Bautista assemble his team. Now that actually is really stupid. Why wouldn't he have found these people? I mean, he's rich. He can find a safecracker. He can find a sharpshooter. See, what he has allowed Bautista to do is to assemble his people. Most of these people are his friends, like the helicopter pilot, who apparently was originally played by a guy who got Me Too'd, so they replaced him with a middle-aged lesbian named Tig Negatero. And the digital process on that does not always look good. They deep faked her head into scenes, and her head's just floating off behind the characters. It doesn't look great. But so this team is going to be loyal to Dave Bautista. He's their boss. He's the one that gathered them. They're not loyal to Japanese businessman they met twice. So that and Scorpion's big plan is, oh, you got to take in my head of security with you, Garrett Dillahunt. Garrett Dillahunt's a good actor. He's on that crappy Fear the Walking Dead thing right now, but like the Last House on the Left remake, he was really good in that. He was also on that sitcom Raising Hope. The guy's acted a lot. But so that's Scorpion's big plan. One guy in a team of what, a dozen. This is his only thing. This is all he has. Now, I mean, most action movies, that's why you introduce the daughter. The bad guy keeps the daughter. Okay, you bring me back my money, or I'm gonna kill your kid. Nah, the daughter's going with him. Scorpion has nothing to guarantee. He has one guy against 10 to guarantee that he actually gets his shit. And straight up, like within 5 minutes of getting in, they say like, we could just kill this guy and keep all the money. But so yeah, and then Garrett Dillahunt, we immediately know he's a bad guy because white, but because on the bus ride, so doofy haired influencer guy, he brings along hot Latin chick. Now this is a character type. In the 2000s, this character would have been played by Michelle Rodriguez, because Michelle Rodriguez played this character in a bunch of stuff. Resident Evil, Fast and Furious, Battle Los Angeles. She did it a lot. But I guess she's aged out, so now they got whoever this is. And his white friend immediately backs out. He's like, no, I ain't fighting with zombies. You're all going to die. Turns out he was right, but still, it's played like he's a coward. But with hot Latin chick, Garrett Dillahunt does this weird maneuver where they're on the bus to Vegas, where he's sitting behind her and he wants to hit on her, so he does like he's gonna hug her from behind. This is a woman he's never spoken to. Okay, has that move ever worked in the history of the world? Like, you're gonna come on to her like a drunk frat boy at a party, like, just, hey, you're pretty. That was great. Like, I can be your seatbelt. Grabs. But, yeah, so Garrett Dillahunt is established as a dick, and she immediately like rips him all like, I don't trust anyone on this bus, especially you. And he immediately backs down, because of course he immediately backs down. Daughter just orders her dad to let her come along, so he does. Like, yeah, handcuff the bitch to a pole if you got to. Don't bring your kid. She's like, oh, I'm gonna come in anyway. Okay, leave her with Scorpion. Say, hey Scorpion, make sure my kid doesn't come into LA. I'll be back in, I think they say a day, 2 days, because they had they're gonna nuke Vegas, is the ticking clock of this movie. So I think they have 2 days. They have plenty of time, but then once they get in, the time gets cut down to nothing. They only end up with a few hours because they move up the missile strike. But and they need the Coyote as a way to sneak in, so they bring Lily the Coyote along, and Lily the Coyote, here's a big plot hole. Okay, so the migrant detention facility, she can sneak in and out at will. Like, she can get in and out of Vegas repeatedly. She knows how to do it. So why does she come back? Why hasn't everyone just left? Why don't they just watch what she does? I mean, like, okay, they've already said half the military has left the Vegas quarantine. You're telling me they couldn't just sneak out the other side of Vegas off into the desert? Like, have one of the volunteers. I mean, the volunteers are obviously sympathetic to him. Have one of the volunteers set up a van 10 miles outside of Vegas. Why is anyone still in this facility, especially Lily the Coyote? But, so Lily the Coyote wants to bring the evil asshole guard, Tio Rossi, along with them. And he, like, grabs super jacked black guy's saw because, this is a video game, and he has his own cool special weapon. So he's going to go, and, like, black guy's like, hey, don't touch my saw. Don't talk to her. Don't do anything. And, like, of course, guard just backs down because what do you do in this movie? When someone is ripping you a new asshole, you just immediately back to, okay. Like, no, fuck you. Put your name on it if you don't want me to touch it and eat a dick. No, just, okay. So guard guy goes along, and they all sneak in. And there's a bunch of dead zombies that they say essentially died of dehydration right against the wall. Like, the second they cross in, there's piles of them. That's going to be important later. But, and then Lily the Coyote's like, oh, well, these are the ones that weren't smart enough to get out of the sun, so they dehydrated and just kind of shut down. But if it rains, they come back to life. So, okay. And then she immediately caps the guard and says, oh, he's an offering. Like, you probably should have let the others know, because now they just don't trust you. But she caps the guard, and then to make it okay, she's like, oh, he was a rapist. Well, why didn't you report him? You're all in the same migrant detention facility. Why didn't you report him if he's a rapist? But So she feeds him to the Queen Zombie. And I'll say the Queen Zombie is actually cool looking. Like, I mean, she's obviously a please cosplay this, but she is cool looking. And I guess she's played by a contortionist based on the way she moves. So the Queen Zombie takes guard guy, and that's enough of an offering for them to be allowed to walk around because the zombies have formed this little hierarchy in Vegas. And that's at least a cool idea. I mean, that's one unique thing about this movie. I know it's been done elsewhere, but I can't think off the top of my head where it's been done. I know I've seen it, but whatever. Yes, so they're sneaking through Vegas, and they get into the casino, and like hot Latin chick tells Garrett Dillahunt, as soon as we get to the bank vault, we're gonna have it out. And it's like, okay, that's smart. You just warned him that you basically want to kill him. So of course he then betrays her, and it's treated like this is an asshole moment, but he can't trust her either. These people want to kill him. They discussed killing him with him in earshot. He's like, what? Oh, nothing. We were talking about a different guy. So he has every reason not to trust these people, but they're doing this thing. And Bautista and his right-hand woman, who helped build the whole team, are betraying everybody. They're not paying anyone. They're like, oh, we'll give you $200,000 of our $50 million. So yeah, the heroes are traitors. And I love that Bautista's leading woman does nothing once they get into a Vegas. Like, it's set up like this. This is Ocean's 11. Bautista's George Clooney, and she's Brad Pitt. She does a whole lot of nothing in this movie. You could forget she's in this movie until like her last scene. So they're sneaking through this one casino where zombies are hibernating. Fine, whatever. It doesn't explain it. So they're sneaking through the zombies that are hibernating in this like kitchen area, and I guess the zombies wake up the same as people do because it's dark and they don't want to turn on the lights. So they're using those little stupid glow sticks you get at raves. And Garrett Dillahunt's going to bring up the back, and hot Latin chick's like, nah, I don't trust you to get our back. I'm going last. Strategy. So you're going to separate yourself from all your friends with the guy you hate. That can't... I can't see how this would go wrong. I can't imagine. Garrett Dillahunt screws up the path. He leads her off into a dead end. And then, because this chick turns out to be like Mila Jovovich in Resident Evil, like she is just nailing these zombies. She probably takes out 30 zombies trying to fight her way out of this place. And she's in a like skimpy ass tank top, not getting bitten. The zombies are really slow moving. I guess they're a little groggy. They haven't had their zombie coffee yet. Like, so she's just owning. But she actually makes it to the door, and Garrett Dillahunt just locks the door. And that was kind of a cool moment where she goes to shoot him through the door, because that's what I was thinking. He's like, it's just a metal door. She can shoot you through that, dude. You shouldn't be standing there watching this. And she's out of bullets. So it cuts away from her, and I was like, there's no way she died off screen. She's gonna come back and save the day at the end of the movie. Nope. When they're going through, Doofy Haircut is like, hey, where's my hot Latin chick friend? And Garrett Dillahunt's like, she didn't make it. What? And then she goes flying through the wall, still kicking all these zombies' ass. And it's treated like, now she's fucked. But Bautista's like, she's already dead. Leave her. She hasn't been bitten yet. She's in a better position now than she was a minute ago. She's in an open space where she can run, she has light, and she has friends there who could provide suppressing fire. They don't, because fuck her, I guess. But they could. Doofy Haircut doesn't help her. Like, he doesn't start pow, 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 shooting the zombies so she can get away. And I was also thinking, okay, wow, they resolved the whole Garrett Dillahunt thing pretty fast, because I thought like he was going to be a traitor through the whole movie, like the evil corporate guy in Aliens. But it's like, okay, no, she's already there. She's like, her dying words are going to be, he left me to die. He betrayed me. Nope, she doesn't. She forgot. She didn't bother. Instead, she screams, run, to her Doofy Haircut friend. He's not in any danger. The zombies aren't even paying attention to him. They're only eating you, you dumb bitch. So she gets killed and then blown up. Well, whatever. None of these characters really matter all that much. So then they get to their next little location, and they find out the time clock has been moved up on the nuke, and Bautista and his daughter suddenly doesn't hate him. Like, she couldn't look at him without screaming at him earlier, and now they have this whole long civil conversation, and she says how, you weren't there for me after Mom died. But she does say, you murdered Mom. She was a zombie. I don't think he murdered her. The zombie virus murdered her. He put her out of her misery, but fine. So, and he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I did do that. Like, you didn't know that? Like, it's like if, in a much better Netflix movie, that thing Extraction with Chris Hemsworth, where he's saving the kid in, I want to say India, or maybe Pakistan. He knows he abandoned his son. Like, he's torn up about it. He hates himself for it. Batista apparently just forgot that he completely blew his daughter off after her mom died. But yeah, and then Garrett Dillahunt and Lily the Coyote go off on their own little unscrupulous adventure because they're both white. So, and again, when someone's ripping you a new asshole, just passively take it. Because Lily the Coyote's like, "You better not screw us." And then she like pokes him in the forehead a few times, and he doesn't do anything. He's like, like a scolded child. Like literally, last year before the lockdown, I had a girl try and do that to me in a bar. It was yelling at me at a bar, and she went to poke me in the forehead. You know what I did? I moved, because don't touch me, bitch. Like he just sits there. Then he uses a fairly cool weapon, like a crossbow with a rope, to catch the queen zombie. He's like, "This is worth so much back. We can create our own zombie army." He goes and he cuts her head off and keeps it. And this leads to a movie-breaking plot hole. But even then, why did you do that? Why the queen zombie? Do you think that's not going to piss off the king zombie? You know she's the queen zombie. Like, it's made very clear to you that she's very important in the zombie hierarchy. But even beyond that, they passed so many other zombies. There were 70 of them piled up at the wall that they flat out said, "Just add water and they're fine." They're like chia pets. Remember those things? Just add water and watch it grow. Like he could have gotten a dozen zombie heads. They were all right there. They walked right past him. That doesn't make any sense. This script is terrible. So after finding out, they gotta hurry up. They go down to the vault. And they do the black or whatever. The really jacked black guy and the German guy bond as he's trying to crack the safe, and they do this whole thing where like German guy is starting to get a little bit more proficient with weapons. Although really he should never have had a gun. Like when they're first entering the Las Vegas, Tig Nicotero like tells him, "Get your gun up, idiot." And he's in the back because he's the most important, because if he dies then they can't get into the vault and the whole thing was for nothing. Nah, this guy shouldn't have a gun. If he doesn't know how to use a gun, he shouldn't have a gun. He should have a club. Has Planet Terror taught us nothing? You remember the blonde in Planet Terror? She gave her son a gun. What did he do inside of 10 minutes? He shot himself in the head. And this guy's in back. He's not going to shoot himself. He's going to panic and shoot everyone in the back. He should not even have had a gun. Fine, whatever. But he finally gets a zombie kill, and he and the black guy start to kind of bond. And while he's cracking the safe, they do all this other stuff. But he finally gets into the safe, and the king zombie realizes that his queen has been killed. And that was actually kind of a good scene when he sees her decapitated body. He's like, no. But I will say that the king zombie could have looked a little bit more distinctive. I mean, the queen zombie, you see her immediately. Like, she stands out with her bejeweled bikini or whatever the hell. But he just looks like a muscular tall guy with shaggy black hair and no shirt. There's another zombie in the scene where the queen zombie gets her head cut off that for a second I thought was the king zombie. Like, it's not a very specific look. But then he does put on his little zombie helmet, so at least that was kind of cool. So the zombie king wants revenge for his dead queen, and the Bautista's daughter sneaks off like an idiot to go get her friend because they find out that she's being captured by the zombie. She wasn't eaten immediately. She has no plan, by the way. She just wanders the hell off. And she knows the nuke's going off in an hour and a half. But so Bautista's daughter disappears, and Bautista's like, "I have to go find her." And his right-hand woman, who professes her love for him and says, "I'm coming with you." He says, this is Barley, "No, it's too dangerous. I can't let you take the risk." She's like, "I'm coming with you." It's like, oh, okay then. Just immediate. And they don't get 5 steps after that, and she gets killed in this really lame CGI thing where they turn her head around. Like, they've been doing that special effects since the late 80s, and it looks good. But it doesn't look good when it's crappy CGI where they just placed her face on the back of her head. It looks really bad. And the gore in this movie is terrible, by the way. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead had some really great gore. This movie has very little. And don't tell me it's because it's Netflix, because again, Extraction, tons of people got shot. This movie has a lot of cutting away and a lot of off-screen deaths. It's really lame for blood. So Bautista has to save his daughter, and they have to fight their way out of the casino, and Garrett Dillahunt. So through the movie, one of Siegfried and Roy's tigers has been turned into a zombie. And Siegfried and Roy are still alive. What are they, 80? But Siegfried and Roy's tiger is alive, and it's just wandering around, just kind of hanging out, being a tiger. And Garrett Dillahunt, the first time he sees it, says, "It's perverse." And it's like, "It's unnatural." He sees it twice, and he's like, oh, he's going to get killed by the tiger. And He betrays the rest of the crew. He's all like, this zombie head is worth 10 times the $200 million. Really? Why are zombies rare? There are thousands of them. They're all in a big cage. You can catch these things with a fucking net. Just fly over it with a net. We've already established this is a world where it's easy to bribe people. Just catch a bunch of zombies with a net. You'd have 20 of them. This is stupid. And again, why didn't you just get one right out? None of this makes sense. This is the worst script. That's why I'm saying this is like Star Wars The Last Jedi. But so he betrays him for his all-important zombie head that was so difficult to find. I didn't mention this, but after he had the zombie queen tied up, he humped her for a little bit. That was... Okay, so Zack Snyder, you're a child. But yeah, so he gets away with his all-important zombie head, locks the rest of them out. He really didn't need to betray them, honestly. He could have just... That was a really unnecessary beat. But he betrays them and leaves them behind, and then he's like... tries to get to the helicopter. Of course he doesn't make the helicopter. And of course the tiger's the one that gets him. And when the tiger's like batting him around and hitting him, if you've never owned a cat, you might think, why doesn't it just kill him? This doesn't make sense. No, cats actually do that. Cats are actually really sadistic. I used to have a cat. You can see it in my early videos. Don't watch my early videos. They're terrible. But like cats are really sadistic. They'll just sit there, hit. Like if they catch a mouse, bat, let it thing get away, grab, drag it back, hit, pick it up with its mouth, drag it off somewhere, let it go again. Like cats are mean. So it plays with him, and that part was kind of funny at least. So he's dead. And, they make this mad dash through the casino while the zombies are chasing them, and Bautista's just killing it, just like jumping from table to table, shooting zombies in the head. The black guy and the German guy get left in the vault, and this was so stupid. The king zombie's distracted, so he's not going after him because he wants to have like a battle with the black guy. Like at the end of Predator, remember? That was established. The king zombie, however, has no relationship with the black guy because the black guy didn't kill his queen. They haven't interacted before, and he's not the leader. But he does this whole, he takes off his helmet and dramatically drops it, like purity of unarmed combat. Like this is not Predator. This wasn't earned. These characters have no relationship. In Predator, the Predator wanted to prove to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character Dutch that he could beat him. The king zombie, there's no reason for this scene. So the king zombie kicks his ass, and the black guy's about to die. Then German guy like throws him in the vault and starts to close the door, and it's a giant door. And this scene is actually suspenseful, and it's like, oh shit, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna get in the vault? Then they completely ruin the scene because the German guy, rather than just be in the vault too, he closes the door with him on the other side of it to get eaten. So stupid. And I was also thinking, if he can't open that vault from inside, this is actually a fate worse than death. I'd much rather be eaten by zombies than have to slowly die of dehydration and starvation in a pitch black room by myself. But no, that's its own thing. So German guy's dead. Bautista, Lily the Coyote, and Doofy Haircut are running through the casino, and Doofy Haircut doesn't make it, and it does that dramatic thing where his bag of money gets ripped open because capitalism is bad, and the money's falling in his face, and he's getting eaten, and I was thinking, no, Doofy Haircut, I'll miss your sexual ambiguity. But, so he's dead. It was down to just Bautista and Lily the Coyote. And Lily the Coyote and Bautista make it to the chopper, and they convince Tig Nicotero, who they're sort of like, I guess she's supposed to be the selfish one now, because she's like, we should just leave. And Batista's like, no, we can't leave my daughter. It's like, again, Tig Nicotero's like, okay, whatever. Like the bomb's going off in literally 10 minutes. They say 10 minutes. And Batista's daughter has just now found her friend because all the zombies are preoccupied trying to kill her dad. So she's able to get to her friend, but as far as she knows, she only has 10 minutes to get out of the city. She's already dead. There's no point anymore. She might as well just sit her ass down and die. There's no way, as far as she knows, that she could possibly make it out of here. And she gets her friend and this other woman who was being held there too, and they turned the guard instead of eating him. Okay, well, given inept coward that was begging for his life, whatever. But he's just as inept as a zombie as he was as a guard, because he really just kills one random character and then gets killed himself. But then Batista's daughter's friend dies, so this entire little side quest was for nothing. But Bautista gets to his daughter, and the king zombie's still hot on their trail. He just sprinted his ass from the vault all the way to his little lair, and he's running at Bautista, and they're trying to get to the roof where the helicopter is. And Bautista shoots at the king zombie and fucking misses him with a rocket launcher while he's running straight at him down a narrow hallway. He missed him with a rocket launcher. Bautista was a dead-ass shot earlier in the movie. He was shooting zombies in the head while running, but he misses a guy running straight at him in a narrow hallway. That was awesome. That was like a joke when I was younger and I would play video games with my friends. Like, if you missed someone with a rocket launcher, you wore the hat of shame. He missed the king zombie with a rocket launcher. Oh my god. So they get to the top of the roof of the building where the chopper's supposed to be, and I was like, holy shit, they're going to steal the ending of Aliens, aren't they? They do. They get up there and like, the chopper's gone, she left us, no. So it's Bautista, his daughter, and Lily the Coyote up there, and then the chopper comes back because that's what happened in Aliens. And in Aliens, there was actually a plot point that explains it where Bishop, the android, Lance Henriksen's character, is like, the platform is coming too unstable, I couldn't stay up here any longer. Tig Nicotero literally just said, fuck him, I'm leaving. Then got up in the air, and she even says this, she says, in the time it took you to leave and for me to decide to save myself, I grew a conscience. So if you're keeping track, Tig Nicotero's character had an arc off camera in about 5 minutes. Good writing. So she that was so bad. So that was such artificial such artificial suspense. It's incredible. So she comes back and they all get on the helicopter, but oh no, the king zombie's there too, and he runs and he jumps into the helicopter. So Bautista, being the hero that he is, the super competent hero, unloads his gun into the tiny helicopter and shoots the pilot. Oh, and the nuke is going off right now. So I was watching it thinking, I bet Zack Snyder doesn't even know what an EMP is. He doesn't know that a nuke going off would kill all the electronics on this chopper and it would just crash. It doesn't end up mattering because the shockwave from the nuke knocks the chopper out of there before the EMP could ever get it. So they crash, and the king zombie's dead, and Bautista's all injured, and Tig Nicotero's dead, and Bautista's daughter's perfectly fine. But she finds Bautista, she's like, oh, Dad, we made it. And Bautista's like, I got a little bit of money for you. Go make a difference. Go back to school. Start a food truck. He had this whole thing through the whole movie where he really wanted her to start a food truck. I guess that's a path to riches. Being in a tiny 150 degrees box giving people food. That sounds like a great life. But, and then Bautista's been bitten. And I was thinking, she doesn't know Bautista's been bitten. If they go super dark with this ending and like he turns into a zombie and kills his own daughter, I'll actually respect that. No, they don't do that. He's like, you gotta kill me, and she kills him, and Bautista does not have the dramatic acting ability to really sell this scene, so it's basically just, you gotta kill me, kill me. The daughter, I want to say her name is Ella Purnell. I haven't seen her in anything else. Her performance is actually pretty good, even though her character's kind of annoying. But yeah, so she gets her little chunk of money, and she's gonna go bribe 20 migrant kids. What are you gonna do with a migrant? Because she keeps saying the children. She's gonna get the children out. These kids have parents. What are you going to do with 20 migrants? That's going to be a great life for them, having no social security number and just going into a bunch of orphanages. This plan does not have, this is not a well thought out plan. It's like, fine, movie's over, finally, that was terrible. Nope, we get a little epilogue. Super jacked black guy, he survived. But no, he didn't survive by getting out of the vault and escaping the city on his own. No, he was in Las Vegas when it was nuked. I guess this guy is like Indiana Jones' long-lost son, because being at the epicenter of a nuclear bomb going off didn't kill him. Oh, the vault protected him. Yeah, just like that lead refrigerator. So if you're going to end your bad movie, you might as well end your bad movie with one of the stupidest moments in modern filmmaking, a moment that is considered one of the worst moments in film history, where Indiana Jones got into the lead refrigerator for the nuclear bomb, and it protected him because it's lead-lined. It didn't cook him alive because it's 1,000 degrees at the middle of a goddamn nuclear bomb. It didn't kill him just from the impact of it being thrown 20 miles in a metal box. And apparently the black guy's the same way. He didn't get cooked alive. He didn't immediately die from radiation poisoning. So he's just fine. He walks his ass out of Vegas with a bunch of money. Happy ending for him, yay. And he charters a private plane with the stolen money, and he's on there partying with these two stewardesses, and if this movie had any balls, he would have been fucking them, but it doesn't, so he's just like being friendly with them. And they're like, oh, you don't look so good. And he's like, oh, no. And I was thinking, okay, so they're going to be at least kind of realistic, right? Like a little tiny bit of realism here. He's going to die of radiation poisoning, and then, maybe we're going to do something stupid like that. Nope. He was bitten and didn't know it. Okay, I've been bitten before, like literally, don't piss off a drunk girl. I had been bitten hard enough to break the skin. That shit really hurts, actually. He didn't know he'd been bitten. And then it works differently for him than it did everyone else, because everyone else that was bitten turned pretty much right away. Now, for him, he's able to travel his ass all the way from Vegas, mostly on foot, to an airstrip, get in the sky, have a couple glasses of champagne, and then realize he's bitten. And he does this whole thing where he's like, well, shit. So it ends on a cliffhanger, like, is he going to do the right thing and kill himself? Which, I mean, I don't even know how. He'd have to shoot himself in the head, which would mean he'd have to have a gun. I guess he could just jump out of the plane and he'd splatter. But, or is he going to start the zombie infection all over again? And considering I think they're trying to turn this into a TV show, I don't know. So that movie was terrible. That movie was absolutely as bad as stuff like Star Wars: The Last Jedi and Battleship. And, again, I don't think people fully appreciate yet just how bad this movie is. Again, this whole movie hinges on a massive plot hole that it's hard to get zombies. It's not. They didn't need to go more than 5 feet into Vegas to manually get a zombie, let alone just getting them from the air. Not to mention all the other stupid shit that was going on. So, and I mean, honestly, they didn't even need the lie about the heist. We're sending you in to get a zombie. Done. These people don't care. They just want money. So, anyway, interact with this video. Let me know what my next review should be. I'm trying to I like to get my sub rate up, so subscribe. I've learned that people would much rather watch me bitch about movies I hate than talk about movies I like, so hence the success of my Castle Freak video. The Castle Freak remake, watch that video. That's actually pretty funny, because that movie was terrible too. It was interesting terrible. It was better than Days of the Dead, or what was it called? Not Days of the Dead. Army of the Dead. Great title. Crappy movie. Oh, and Zack Snyder. Like, this whole movie is like Zack Snyder begging Hollywood to let him back in the club, because, there's all those rumors, oh, he's right wing. So this movie has so many leftist talking points, like the whole detention facility thing, the way that anytime a woman or a minority character rips someone a new asshole, they just have to sit there and take it. Okay. Capitalism being bad. This movie's pretty anti-American. When they get into, they specifically say that the Constitution no longer applies in Las Vegas, which shouldn't matter because Las Vegas is full of zombies. But they specifically say that, and they get in, and Garrett Dillahunt, this isn't a free country. There's no Constitution in here. And Dave Bautista goes, well, that makes it a freer country. All right. And the Zombie King hangs out on the fake Statue of Liberty that was built for one of the casinos. Zack Snyder, again, he's just checking off boxes. Minorities are the good guys, pretty much universally. White people are either evil, stupid, or at the very least morally compromised. Lily's death. Ah, shit, I forgot about that. Real quick, so they get off the platform with the King Zombie because Lily has stolen the Zombie Queen's head, and Lily the Coyote still has the Zombie Queen's head, and she puts the gun to the head. It's like, back off. The King Zombie backs off, but rather than get on the chopper with the gun to the head, she wanders the hell off to the left. And I'm just sitting there screaming, why don't you just get on the fucking chopper too? And they treat it like it's this heroic sacrifice. This was suicide, and it's not established that this character is suicidal. So, I mean, comparing it to another much less good Predator movie, The Predator, the fourth one, like the black guy, when he sacrifices himself, it was established. He wanted to die. He was suicidal. He had a big scar on his forehead from trying to shoot himself. She just died because she's stupid. But anyway, I digress. This whole movie felt like Zack Snyder kissing Hollywood's liberal ass, trying to beg, please, don't get mad at me. I'm good. And he also did that whole interview where he basically just was a bitch about everything. But yeah, this is an awful movie. Zack Snyder's worst by far, and I kind of had fun laughing at it, but it's terrible. This is legitimately a really, really bad film. Like I said, like, share, subscribe. Goodbye.